The I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel is now playing in theaters, and it's connected to the original movie in more ways than just its name. So, where are Julie and Ray, the only two survivors of the 1997 murders all these years later, and who's the killer this time around? Warning, major spoilers ahead.
A toast to us, to our last summer of immature, adolescent decadence.
The new film picks up in the seaport town of Southport, North Carolina, which has now been revitalized and turned into the Hamptons of the South. Thanks to a wealthy real estate developer and the father of new character Teddy Spencer, the tale of the murderous fisherman who went on a killing spree and terrorized a group of teens in the 90s is now completely erased from the town's history. As I'm sure you know, the movie sees Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt return as their respective characters, Ray Bronson and Julie James.
He's just out there and he's watching us and waiting. What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
27 years after the events of the first film, Julie is now a college professor in a nearby town who specializes in the psychology of fear and trauma.
What are you waiting for?
As for Ray, her now ex-husband,
it's an urban legend, American folklore, and they all usually originate from some sort of real-life incident.
He's still in Southport as he grew up blue-collar without the money other kids had.
The cops are not going to help us.
And we'll find someone who will.
It isn't something I like talking about.
The new movie is riddled with Easter eggs, including the return of the iconic Croaker Queen parade float. But the most glaring nod to the original is that this time around, the killer is Ray, along with Stevie, a member of the film's core friend group who works at Ray's bar. When it turns out that Stevie's friend from church was the victim of this film's car accident, she teams up with Ray to recreate the 1997 exploits of the fisherman to get revenge.
We've seen you long play a good guy and a hero, but this movie we see you play a bad guy. What was it like stepping into that?
You know, my whole life I wanted to do this. Since I was a little boy, I used to literally go down the hallway when it was lights out time before I had to go to bed. And I would go into every dark corner and every dark room, and I was like 3 years old. My mom told me this story. I don't even remember doing this. And I would go, rah! And I'd go in the bathroom, the lights were out, rah! And she goes, baby, what are you doing? I said, I'm trying to scare them before they scare me. The first movie I watched, I rented on Betamax, was The Creature from the Black Lagoon. And, but that movie made me fall in love with monsters and always wanting to be the man in the mask. And Hollywood, when I was making She's All That, wasn't gonna ever let me be the man in the mask. That just wasn't an option. And this was my first opportunity to really get to be a monster. And the way that she developed this character and got him to this place was so organic and honest and broke my heart, to be honest with you, that I wanted to do that to the audience. I want the audience to be like, not Ray, not Ray. And so I tried to bring as much vulnerability and pain to the performance as I possibly could, with all the life experience I have now at almost 50 years old.
As for the reason behind Ray's turn to the dark side, he was angry that the story of what happened to him and his friends had been erased from Southport history, and he never addressed the trauma it all caused him.
And let me give you some advice. When you leave a man for dead, make sure he's really dead.
Director and co-writer Jennifer Caton Robinson opened up about how the characters from the original film and the ones in this new one are connected through their traumas.
Like the way in which the original sin eats at our characters in this movie, eats at our characters from the original movie, because I think that it all kind of is of the same thing. They are all dealing with the guilt and shame of what they did. And some of those characters are dealing with that over the course of a year, and some of those characters are dealing with that over the course of 27 years. But the wound is the same for everyone, and I think that was the most interesting thing to me about this movie. It is a movie about 7 characters who all have the same wound. And how does that change each of them differently?
For much more on the new I Know What You Did Last Summer film, go to THR.com. For The Hollywood Reporter News, I'm Tiffany Taylor.